Hi guys, Mr. Hanks here. This is our lesson for Monday, September 30th, almost done with the month of September. And in getting started, this is a brand new chapter in Unit 2. This is Unit 2, Chapter 2, Populism and the People's Party. Alright, so just a few quick side notes for this. This Friday will be our quiz. It will be just a 10 multiple choice question quiz, nothing too extreme or anything like that, because this is like a little mini series that we're going to cover on populism. Now, populism in the 1890s, and we're going to focus kind of in 1892 for this. It's a lot of economics involved. There's a lot of things that we can relate directly to today, such as key concepts like inflation and supply and demand. Economics, not really the most fun, if that's a thing, of the social studies things to learn, and that's because, it's dealing with a lot of math, and I'm not the best at math. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get started. I'm going to introduce this Unit 2, Chapter 2, The Changing Nation, Populism, and the People's Party. And the first thing I want to draw everyone's attention to is what factors contributed to the emergence of the People's Party during the late 1800s. That's our framework question, but we also want to know, because, what ended up happening to them? Are they still around today in some degree? What is populism? Those are some of the questions that we're going to answer as we go on. So this framework question is kind of one-sided, because we're going to see the Farmers Alliance and everything play into this, but eventually we're going to see this question get answered, and then we're going to quickly move on to other things like what ended up happening, what did they advocate for. All those things are very important to know and understand. Okay, all right, so we have our lesson in-game achievements right here in the presentation. This is analyze the causes and effects of technological and industrial advances during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Analyze factors that contribute to and effects of the growth of the industrial economy, including capitalism and the growth of free markets, mass production, agriculture advancements, the government's laissez-faire economic policy, and the rise of corporations. Awesome. So that's going to be the one we kind of focus on for today. And once again, our framework question, most important part of the lesson, along with the objectives. This is just a simple list of things you need to know. And once again, I've already kind of went over this, causes and effects of populism and the People's Party, including the decline in crop prices and increased production, high interest rates, inflation, and dominance of railroads, the Granger movement, the Free Silver movement, bimetallism, and William Jennings Bryan, the formation of the Farmers Alliance and the People's Party, and the elections of 1892 and 1896. We have our objectives as well that are going to play a role. I want to quickly run through the vocabulary for the day and everything like that. Vocabulary for the week. Nothing like Unit 2, Chapter 1 or anything like that. This is, not even half of what we had there, so everybody can kind of relax on that. So agrarian. And I kind of used that term in my class already, and students kind of looked at me like we never heard that. You hear the word agriculture or farming or something like that. Agrarian is more of an adjective version of it, where agriculture is more of a noun, something that's a form that the economy is based on. Agrarian is more the adjective, so it is relating to farming or agriculture. Oh, you're growing tomatoes in your garden? Wow, cool. What an agrarian way of lifestyle. It's an adjective. It describes something. So we could start using that maybe more in class to build our vocabulary and everything like that. Populism, the big title of the chapter, a political perspective that gives priority to the interests of ordinary people, we the people. So yes, I guess they found a name that should resonate with people, like, oh, it's popular, but we're going to see at the end of this lesson, maybe we'll call this the most popular chapter of them all. Right. Anyway, so inflation, a rise in prices and a fall in the purchasing value of money. Nobody likes inflation. I think we all know what inflation is to some degree in today, but there are certain things that may trigger it. There are certain things that may lower it, and maybe we'll be able to determine some of those things in the very first lesson. So let's continue on. A cooperative, an organization that is owned and operated by its users for economic benefit. So it's like, for example, members of the cooperative could purchase tools and seed at low prices. So if you belong to this kind of group, this entity, you could maybe have deals or something. It's kind of like belonging to something in like a reward system. Like if you're part of the Best Buy reward system, you may get like 5% off every purchase or something like that. However, we're going to see this kind of taken advantage of as well. And finally, platform, the policy supported by a political party. Okay, so I think we covered this with the last lesson too, and it's just a platform. It's not something that you physically stand on. It's kind of like you're standing on business. Know what I mean? But it's like, it's platform. It's just your beliefs, and Democrats have their beliefs. They have their platform. Republicans have their platform, their beliefs, everything like that. So it's just a belief that a group will stand on. Business. I just like saying that. All right. Anyway, so good. Let's get rolling. So this is lesson 1. So this is for Monday, the September 30th, almost in a month once again. So we have our lesson titled The Birth of Populism. Explain the effects of capitalism, love capitalism, and the growing industrial economy on American farmers during the 1800s. Awesome. So if we go right here, we have our bell ringer. Once again with our objective and everything, and that coffee that I wish I had right about now. Maybe not with all the sprinkles and stuff on it. I don't like the sprinkles. I just like the whipped cream and the works. But anyway, back to the thing. When it comes to classifying who are good people, who would you say relates closer to that term? Explain why. There's an old philosophy that kind of goes with that, like with holy people. Holy people are usually deemed as good people. But then some people can make the argument that a holy person is whole, reconciling their differences, and that is a huge philosophical platform. But when it comes to classifying who are good people, who do you think you could truly say is a good person with your best interests in mind, keeping everyone's best interests in mind, sacrificing and putting someone else's needs above their own? So just something to kind of think about with today's lesson. On the lesson for today, we have 2 readings. Agrarian distress. There's that very first vocabulary word, agrarian. So we know it's something to do. And distress usually is a word that says somebody's maybe stressing out about something. Something is putting people in a mode of stress. Okay, so agrarian distress. So we know something not good is happening with the farmers. Reading 2, populism versus railroads and banks. And we already have our second vocabulary word, populism. So we're going to kind of see the emergence of these 2 things coming out. If you remember in chapter 1, laissez-faire government gave rise to major corporations and wealthy entrepreneurs while the working class struggled to get by. Industrialization, wealth inequality did not only affect cities, they also affected the farmers also. And remember, farmers are more in rural areas. So in this chapter, you're going to read about the impact of industrialization capitalism on farmers and how farmers and their representatives responded. And it's not going to be anything gruesome like Shays' Rebellion was, because remember, we now have a system of government that is more diplomatic, so you have to settle your differences in a diplomatic way. Awesome. All right, so a new movement emerges. Quickly read that little introduction, and then we're going to jump straight into our main reading, Agrarian Distress. Go ahead, take your notes. I want y'all focusing on main ideas. So who, what, when, where, why, how, all those questions get answered here. And eventually I'm going to update all this, and it's going to be a brand new thing to kind of flow with all the lessons. That's going to start in Unit 2, Chapter 3. So make sure you get this main ideas. Who is being affected? Who is affecting someone? What is happening? How did they get there? Where is this happening? When is this happening? And how are people responding, or how is this happening? Good. We have 3 questions to go along with that. How did mechanization affect farmers? Mechanization we covered is now we're starting to see how farmers are, without giving too much away, mechanization made farming easy because it gave them means to quickly develop, the means and modes to farm. Let me explain. So, for example, they were getting things that would help them harvest and plant faster, tractors, all kinds of stuff like that. And you could tell I'm not from the country, but yeah. So they are now able to mass produce more food better. And you would think that's a good thing. Yay, more food for everybody. But when it comes to economics, there's always a downfall of something, because you're going to see prices start to drop. Okay? And that's kind of inflation. You have more supply than you have demand now. And because of the farmers getting affected by businesses, we're going to kind of cover that in the next reading too, like the railroads and everything, they're starting to get hit with a lot of inflation. They're not able to sell their product as much, and they're not able to make a lot of money, which is kind of what is still happening to this day. So let's jump. What was the original purpose of the patrons of husbandry and the Granger movement, and how did the Granger movement change over time? You're going to get that in the reading. Go ahead and answer that. Pretty big movement. Kind of goes and corresponds with the Farmers Alliance. Who is included and excluded from the Granger movements? Included means people are involved, and excluded means people are not invited. Pretty much on purpose. So yes, good. Let's slide here. So this is the second ring, populism versus railroads and banks. Oh man, so credit is going to start to be a real issue now. And I mean, we're right around the 1890s, and remember the huge collapse of the Great Depressions coming in the 1930s. So not too many people are aware of credit and what it can do to you if you're not responsible with it. And the farmers are going to kind of be the first group to find out before the rest of the nation does. So go ahead, read that reading. And you're going to once again take some notes on that. Let's see. Once again, who, what, when, where, why, how. Answer that in the main ideas right here. And right here we have 3 more questions. And before we get into that, I just want you to know that the Granger's cases, as you're going to read, had mixed results for farmers, especially in different court cases. Maybe it wasn't what they wanted. I want you to kind of read and kind of pull that info out of the reading as well. So we're going to kind of see the farmers kind of get taken advantage of in this reading. So, yes. All right. So why did farmers pay higher shipping rates than large corporations? Why did banks charge farmers higher interest rates for loans? What impact did this have on farmers? What were the Granger cases? So once again, the Granger case I just mentioned. So we're going to kind of see this kind of goes with the cooperative, not kind of being part of a group. So if you're not part of a group, you don't have as many advantages as farmers. Large corporations were all kind of working together to try to snuff out any competition. The farmers were getting hit with some payback on that. Not really payback, but just blowback to them on that. Go ahead and you will take this flashcard, just this right here. Founded in 1867, the Granger movement evolved from an educational organization, an activist one that fought unfair business practices. So just from reading all that with the Farmers Alliance, you're going to be able to answer this, kind of answer the framework question. What factors contributed to the emergence of the People's Party during the late 1800s? Go ahead and answer that in your presentation. And that is going to be it for the first lesson. This lesson is for Monday, September 30th, 2024. So, if you have any questions, please email anytime. We'll all be here, me and the other teachers and everything like that. Have a strong mind and grow your hearts. All that stuff I think I said right that time. Probably not, but yeah. So remember, live the arc away. Thank you very much. And have a good day. I'll see you in lesson 2, the People's Party. Oh boy. All right. Have a good one, y'all.